Okay, so as I start out with the head, usually I like to add that crest that the T-Rex always has, and then I kind of give it a square snout. I don't really know why, but I always make like a triangle shaped mouth, just so the mouth is always open because I like doing an open mouth. I make sure I give the eye no pupil. I had to raise that there because the eye was too big, I thought. There we go. And then I also was trying to make skull shape. So what I was trying to do is I was trying to draw circles that indent the holes in the skull that everybody knows about. And then I realized that I made that hole too small, and then later I tried to make it look bigger. It looked better that way. As you can see, I'm always shading. I'm doing the shades. I'm just trying to darken the edges a bit, and then do a couple teeth. Yes, I can write with both hands. If you needed to know that, I can write and draw with both of my hands. I'm ambidextrous. And I like to darken the space at the bottom of the jaw, because I love darkening the outside of the head. That's really what I want to do. And then I really try to make that on the outside, on the inside, the middle part, really light. As you can see, I'm just trying to get everything shaded done. Then I really like the mouth. I darken because it makes it look like gums. And then make sure that I keep the head on scale to the body, because I noticed with my Stegosaurus it was too big because I drew a Stegosaurus the other day. I was just adding the nose. I had to make it a little bit darker because the pencil that I was using, it was a good pencil for shading, but for detail and definition lines, it was a bit harder to do. And then you see I'm just adding the final touches on the face, and then this was the body. I was trying to make it like a curve so that it was kind of like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, and it roars at the end. And I had a mistake with the tail. And then it was really hard to get the leg done because I had to make it look 3D. I wanted to make it go facing front towards the camera. It was really hard to do, but I figured it out eventually. And I'm just shading. I always like to do the edges darker than I do in the middle with the shading. And then you always want to make your lines for your bones and your muscle on your dinosaur. You really want to make the muscles pop by adding those curvy lines. Those make it really pop. And I like to darken those and enforce those just to shade them and everything. I'm shading the tail. You always want a nice flat pencil for shading. One that kind of makes it look scaly. You never want one of those sharp ones when you're trying to shade something. It's not going to work that well. You always want one of the flatter tips. I always darken the tip of the tail more than the edge of the tail. And then the middle, it's kind of funny because I move my hand so fast that it's so light that it looks like skin and scales. That's what you really want to do. As you can see, I'm just trying to darken the edges there and try to mix it. You always want to make sure to mix it. You always want to make sure that it's not going just dark to light. There's a gray area, as you remember. And then I remember having a mistake with the tail, because I didn't want the tail to be that wide. So I erased that part. And as I'm watching this, I don't think I did such a good job with the back, but I really like to make the place where the head is darker, like a really dark shadow, because the sun is going to be on its right side, so the head is going to shadow over it. So that's what I was really trying to do, and it looked pretty successful. And make sure your tail is always long and thick. Don't make your tails like short. Always make sure that you look at your drawing precisely and make, you don't want to do in proportion. And then I was just drawing the scales on the toes. I tried to do that with the arms, but they were too small. And then, I was really trying to reinforce the shading there. And then the toes are really hard to do for a dinosaur. Because, when you're doing it like from the front area, you can make the foot look really small, or like a herbivore's foot, or like a hoof. It's really hard. I think I achieved this pretty well. The right foot was easier to do than the left foot. I had a mistake with the leg there. But yeah, definitely I would say that the left foot was harder, because the right foot was more sideways, and that is kind of hard to do 3D, but I tried my best, and that's what the left leg looks like. I was really proud of the shading on my right leg and my left leg, and I really liked the way that my stomach started to look for the dinosaur. And then you always want to make sure that you're getting the veins in for your dinosaur, so for your T-Rex really. And all of those muscle creases, I was really proud of my calf and my thigh, just for how it looked. I'm sorry if I'm tilting this, but sometimes you gotta tilt your paper. And then when you're doing the toe scales that are on the toes, you want to be really light, because you don't want to mess up those. And as you can see on my knees and on my elbows, I like to do that round trick that makes it look like it has folds and wrinkles. I love doing that too. That really makes your figure pop. So then you really want to make as light as possible, like circle, like it's darker on the edges, and then light as possible in for the stomach. And then for your ribs, as you can see what I'm doing now, you kind of want to make them look like a very outstretched diamond. Well, not like a diamond, but you want to make sure that they have that there are two lines connecting to bottom and top, because that's what really makes them pop. And in a bit, you'll see that when I did the arm, I shaded really lightly, and then I always did that extra bone part. A lot of people don't do that. Even with sculpting like a figure, they don't do the extra bone for above the leg and like the shoulder and the hip. A lot of people don't like to do that. They don't go through the effort, but I love going through the effort because it really makes your dinosaur a lot better. And then I was trying to shade the head a bit more on the T-Rex. And then you really want to make those neck creases for the neck folds. My favorite part was probably the head. But the arm, as you can see, you can kind of see what I did there. I gave it a shadow. And I was really proud of that shadow because the shadow really made it look like it was coming from the sun. And then I drew the background, of course. You really want to make your T-Rex come to life. Sorry, I'm popping my knuckles. And then for my second arm, it wasn't really hard. I just kind of drew the outline and then I shaded it properly. I didn't do too much detail with it. and then I was just shading the rest of my T-Rex. And then the grass, you guys, you pick for what you want to do for your background, but if you want to skip through the background part, that's totally okay with me. But I love doing the grass. The grass was hard though. It made my hands really sore. And I was thinking maybe I shouldn't do grass. Maybe I should just do it like standing on a cliff. And then I was like, no, in Montana, that's what you see. You see grasses and then you see the Rocky Mountains. And I did put some mountains in the background. You see that in a bit there. But then I felt the need to shade all the grass and make that all happen. Another thing that I noticed is when you're getting around the foot and the leg, when it's in the grass, you always want to be really careful that you don't mess up your shading. And then you always want to make sure that grass pieces don't look like triangles. You want to make them as skinny as possible. And that's what I was trying to do because I didn't want to make the background all cartoony and then the masterpiece, like the actual T-Rex, all detailed and then the background just like sloppy, something that you'd see from a cartoon. And then I noticed that it was really making my dinosaur come to life. And this is something that you guys can try out at home too. This, pick up a pencil, say I'm gonna do this, and face away from the past, never look back, and get your shading. Think about muscles. Try to make it as 3D as possible. Just picture your dinosaur on your page. Picture that and then trace it. It's almost like I'm tracing my mind. And then I was doing some mountains, just kind of getting the clouds up there. And I kind of made them like a horizon kind of clouds. You can't really tell if it's morning or if it's like the evening time. But you can definitely tell it looks like it's evening time because of where the sun is. Obviously, the sun is more towards the west of the dinosaur. And then for the sun, I kind of made these skinny triangles, as skinny as possible. And then I was drawing some pteranodons in the background. I just drew almost like a V. Okay, so that was my video today, guys. This is what we were trying to draw. So that's what we drew today. As I'm here, yeah, this is me. I'm sorry, I don't want to reveal my hair. My hair's a mess. Would you like to see my bed head? That's my bed head. It's not too bad actually. No, not bad at all. But this is the definitive original. This is the first one that I drew. So I hope you liked everything I've done. As I was talking about, I love to shade darker for the outside, and in the middle, I just kind of make that a lighter tone. I'm more proud of the original than I am with this one. I mean, this one isn't too bad. This was made to be a copy. But if I had to pick my favorite, it would probably be the original because it did a better job with shading-wise. I'm probably going to add some more shading to this new one. But I tried to make it exactly the same. It didn't. It worked. It definitely worked. But yeah, I hope you liked it today, guys, and I hope you learned something new for artistic in case you ever wanted to join that. So, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos, and I hope to see you soon.